Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Sorry, this weekend has been kind of empty as far as videos go. I went to the Eunice concert on Friday, and then I've just been really tired the last 2 days. But gonna try and get a couple up tonight and get some recorded ahead of time for this coming week. So you'll probably see this shirt quite a bit. But if you haven't already seen this reaction over on the main channel, Jeff Reacts 12, we did the reaction for this Growing Pains from MONSTA X over there a few weeks ago, and now this will be my chance to watch it a little closer and take in more the meaning of the lyrics. So I hope you're ready for that. Let's get started. All right, got a nice pounding bass to start with.
Bigger dreams than my eyes could see. I've been learning to swim while I'm lost at sea, but I rise.
I love that little small run there.
I left home behind when I was just 18. Poured my soul into the stage, thinking who I'll be, and I stumbled and fell, but I still believe I'll survive.
Beautiful vocals from both of them so far. Okay, actually, hold on, of course, this is on my bad. Oh. Oh, beautiful harmony there. Okay, sorry, I thought this is where we were when I hit pause the first time. So beautiful harmonies. Each one of the guys who have sung so far, that might have been all of them, because I don't know MONSTA X. If you saw the reaction, then you know that I know very little of them. I've only heard like maybe 2 songs from them before. But some of you guys there did mention that, because I had asked, does this sound like MONSTA X? Like, is this their kind of sound? And a lot of you guys said that it's not really their sound insofar as like their typical, like their Korean releases, but that this is sort of on par for what they do with their English stuff, which I also foolishly, when I listened the first time, didn't even realize that we were all English here, and I also didn't realize that there would be a difference. So thank you guys for letting me know. But let's talk about the lyrics here. I know it's all in English, but I didn't have the subtitles, and I always like to follow along over here. So I was just a kid when the lights found me. Basically, this is a coming of age story already. Like, we know the title Growing Pains, and we know from this first line that it's looking all the way back to like the beginning. And I'm sure it's very similar, especially in the K-pop industry, for a lot of idols. Not all of them, because some of them debut a little bit older, but especially these days, it's more common that they find them really young. But it reminds me of the show Idol Eye that I'm watching currently over on our buddy Pops Reacts Patreon. And the main lead male character got his start by being discovered when he was just singing up on a nightclub bar stage or whatever. But the point is, like, just this look back of this nostalgia of, and this whole song, like, the feeling exudes nostalgia. But anyway, all right, way too long to spend on one line. But just a kid when the lights found me, chasing bigger dreams than my eyes could see. I've been learning to swim while I'm lost at sea. That's a poetic line for 2 reasons. One, the rhyming of being lost at sea, rhyming back with dreams, bigger dreams than my eyes could see. 2 different spellings of the word sea, obviously. But learning to swim while I'm lost at sea is like figuring it out as he goes. Like, it's sometimes you might hear the phrase like, trial by fire or throwing them into the deep end right away. This is more towards that version of that phrase, but it's the same idea where you don't know what's going to happen and you don't know how to do something per se, but you figure it out. Uh, I actually, me and my friends, a lot of the times will say like, "Fake it till you make it." Like we will pretend we know and we'll figure it out as we move along. But I'll rise, yeah, I'll rise. So that confidence already. I left home behind when I was just 18. It's got to be lonely, man. And that, no, lonely is the right word. I was gonna say maybe not lonely because you've got your group mates and the label and stuff, but you don't have the warmth of your family anymore. And I don't know how tight these guys are together, but obviously when they first were formed, they weren't as tight as they are now, however tight that is. But leaving home, I was just 18, poured my soul into the stage thinking who I'll be. So, we see this a lot with, especially with idols who are chasing that dream. They give it their all, and you'll see these behind the scenes videos like intense dance practices, blood, sweat, tears just being poured out so that they can give the single greatest show that they can give at any given point. And all of that, of course, with the idea of the future of like, who will I be? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And how do I want to connect to this stage and to the fans? And so it's, even though they're singing about it, it's their life journey here, and it's a powerful thing to look back and realize like how far you've come, but also how difficult it was to get where you are. And then that next line actually talks about that, like, and I've stumbled and fell, but I still believe. So they keep going despite obstacles. I'll survive. I'll survive. Then the chorus, which is obviously the highlight of this one. That's standard in pop songs in general, but this song has a beautiful chorus. And you know what I love about this chorus, actually? Other than those harmonies that got put in, especially recent K-pop, I'm talking like last 2-3 years, the choruses of these K-pop songs will a lot of times just recycle the same word or same phrase over and over and over. You might hear the same word in a chorus 30 times on some occasions. But what this chorus does, it doesn't do that. We this is a throwback to when choruses were beautiful and still catchy, but not reliant on one sound. So the chorus is, "Baby, I'll be okay, living in this violet haze. One day I'll understand that I'm good as I am. You are enough." And that line right there is saying, yeah, one day I'm gonna realize that I am enough. I don't have to be the next whoever. I don't have to keep doing more and more. Like, I'm enough as I am. One day I'll realize that. I'm finding my way, dealing with these growing pains. And of course, if you've never heard the phrase growing pains, it's pretty self explanatory, but it's the idea of things being difficult, but not always hard, just it's changes and obstacles and new experiences that you don't know how to navigate, and it's the pain of growing up. But what I also like about this line is not, I don't think it's just talking about the pain of growing up. I mentioned that in the reaction, that I talked about like a coming of age story type of thing. And that's there. That's the first meaning and the obvious meaning, but I think there's also the not so subtle second meaning here, because they've talked about, pouring my soul into the stage and that stuff, is the growing pains of figuring out who they are and who they want to be in this industry. Um, so yeah. Next line, I'll be okay because I know that in time I'll change. All the strength I've found, yeah, I'm still standing now. So that idea of like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, these experiences have hardened them, have changed them, have made them into who they are now. I'm finding my way dealing with these growing pains. So, absolutely beautiful chorus, both vocally and lyrically.
I've been crawling to fire just to find my feet, and I know everyone at home is this the pride of me. All the mirrors that I've run chasing this.
They look like fun dudes to hang out with.
I'll be fine. 'Cause I've sold both the dreams and all of these hotels, trying to find a different person, but I'm someone else now that.
Hold on, sorry. Who is this guy? This is, according to the lyric page I'm reading off of, this is Minhyuk. I love this guy's softer tone there. That was nice.
Chains on my past, baby, can't you tell? They ain't holding me. Oh, baby, I'll be. Oh,
got that like epic build at that chorus. I love his voice too. They all sound great. Love his voice too. Love the harmony. Alright, who's that? That was Heehan. I love this a cappella vocal arrangement here at the end. Oh, yeah. So, I obviously have heard this already. I did the reaction a couple of weeks ago, but God, it sounds just as good, if not better, the second time. Wow. Okay, so I'm not going to read the chorus again, so we'll end with what they said in verse 2. I've been crawling through fire just to find my feet, so I've been overcoming obstacles. I've been going through hell just to figure out who I am, basically. And I know everyone at home is still so proud of me, which is really touching. They left the home when they were barely 18, and they know that the family's still behind them, rooting for them, cheering for them, loving, supporting. Which is, I feel like when you're in an industry that's this tough and you leave and you get started so young, to, even though you don't have them, just knowing that they're still there and still waiting for you, still supporting you, that has to be such an uplifting thing, knowing that, I don't know if this was one of the groups who was like in a really strict label once upon a time, like, I don't know how rough Starship was or anything. They're under Starship, right? Anyway, I hear some of the labels, especially when the idols are trainees, like they get their phones taken away, and it's really, really tough. So, although I guess when they debuted, cell phones weren't as common back then. Like they did have them, but I don't know if every guy might have had one. Anyway, the point is, the idea of just being able to at least call home somehow and hear your loved one's voices has to be a really uplifting thing, and some like a anchor or a rock in the storm. And the reason I say that, obviously beyond the obvious, is because you see it in the survival shows where the trainees have come to the show and they're only there for a couple of months by the time we see them and see the filming and all that, and you still see a lot of them crying when they finally get to hear their family's voice again. So yeah. Anyway, all the miles that I've run chasing destiny, I'll be fine. I'll be fine because I've stumbled through dreams and all of these hotels. So yeah, like I've been on tour. I've been around the world. I've been in foreign places, foreign beds, and I've been chasing my dreams, both literally and figuratively. But not just chasing, but stumbled. Like they said, it's not always been easy, but it's been rewarding. Trying to find a different person, but I'm someone else. Uh, so this might be a line indicating that maybe they were told who they had to be and they were looking for that person. But then the last two parts, now the chains of my past, baby, can't you tell? They ain't holding me. So the expectations, the burdens that they felt before, the idea of maybe being told who they had to be, what they had to be, you know, or even internally, like them telling themselves they had to meet a certain standard. Like that stuff doesn't hold them back or hold them down now. They're free to experience and provide the artistry that they want to provide. Okay, so that was a closer look at Growing Pains from MONSTA X. Really just absolutely beautiful lyrics and beautiful video. Vocals. Video was not beautiful. It was just fun. You get to see the guys, hanging out with each other, doing cool, fun stuff like going to the beach. Not much of a beach guy myself, but they look like they're having fun, and to me, they look like they'd be fun to hang out with. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If so, please support MONSTA X. Subscribe to their channels and buy their albums. If you enjoyed this video, though, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to enable your notifications. And also, if you want to get a request done, you can either go through Patreon. Shout out to our Patreon subscribers. Thank you guys for all of your support. Gray tier and higher over there get access to the content that I can't put here on YouTube, and they also get guaranteed requests every month. If you don't want to go through Patreon, though, the other way to get a request done is to look in the description below. There's a link to PayPal and instructions on how to use it. So feel free to take a look at that, and I will see you for the next one. Take care, everybody.